When we talk about justice in a real scriptural sense, it's a focus on taking care of the marginalized in a community and making sure that the community, it functions in a certain way, that everyone has their role and everyone takes care of each other. What really highlights it, though, I think, are the prophets. The prophets have a very clear sense of duty to the common good, duty to the community, taking care of immigrants, taking care of widows. And so justice in Scripture is always attending to people who cannot necessarily take care of themselves or people who might otherwise be vulnerable. I think probably one of the best examples is Jesus with the woman at the well. And the reason I think the woman at the well is so important is that it's mercy and justice at the same time, that you can't have one without the other. That Jesus says, go and sin no more, go and be holy, go and take care of your community, and I'm not going to punish you. Because I think we get this weird distortion in modern interpretations of Christianity that justice involves punishment. And that's simply not the case. That for Jesus, justice involves mercy because justice brings people back and creates a whole community again, that it includes and wraps people in. Biblical justice and the rights of workers are really tightly interwoven with each other. There's a real sense of work has dignity because people have dignity. And God made and created, and so therefore we are all imbued with the image and likeness of God. So when we talk about the community and their obligation for worker justice, I think it's really important to highlight the common good. It's the thing that is common to all of us. And so the community, coming from that same root word of common, we have a real demand for mutual aid, mutual care, because the good that is common to my neighbor is common to me, is common to you, would be worker justice. The common good is environmental justice. The common good is care for immigrants and our neighbors. That's good among all of us. And so the community has a role to uphold those values, to uphold those traditions of making sure workers have enough to live comfortably, to take care of their families, to have housing, to have food. That the community has a real expectation that it is enabling everyone to live the fullness of their lives as possible. I think one of my favorite examples is actually the Chicago Teachers Union, and that one of the last times that they started bargaining for a new contract, they said, we're not just bargaining for ourselves as teachers, but that teachers have this really central, pivotal role in a community. And so when we go to the bargaining table, we want to bring those community values with us. And so they didn't just go and bargain for better pay or better health care, but they included, we want to have student resource officers in the school. We want to have mental health care opportunities available in the school. We want after-school programs. And they included that in their bargaining as part of their contracts. And so it's this real sense of our well-being as teachers is important because we play a real fundamental role in the community, and because we play that fundamental role, we have to take into account all of these other elements of the common good and how we can take care and serve our community. I think the other big element that we see throughout Scripture is there are rules and limitations set for the well-being of workers. We're not designed just to work, but we're designed to love and to serve God. And to love and to serve God, we also have to take care of ourselves and take care of our neighbors. And so that the point of what we should do as Christians on the Sabbath is, of course, I think celebrating and participating as a community, and it's designed to help us help others have a day off, to recognize the importance of doing justice in the world to make sure others have that opportunity to be part of community, to relax, to celebrate. I think one of the best ways for a local church or a parish to get involved with the work of justice, kind of very broadly speaking, is to listen to those who are on the margins. And many of those are folks in our communities. I think that first opening step of listening to the needs of our neighbors is perhaps the most important. Who are the labor unions, the worker centers, the local advocates, the immigration centers? And when we think of worker justice, I think there's a real tendency to say, well, just labor unions, just people who are in a manufacturing job or just people who are in a construction job. But worker justice, I think, takes on a much broader sense when we recognize the fact that we're all workers. We're all co-creators in some way. I think being a co-creator with God applies to justice in that it gives us a real sense of moral responsibility. It gives us a real sense of engagement and participation, that we have this duty as co-creators to take care of that which we have created and participate in it. Knowing the other co-creators helps give us a real sense of duty and justice to each other. Getting involved in worker justice can actually be relatively easy because it is as broad as working to protect SNAP benefits. It's as broad as working to protect the rights of migrants in our communities. All of those things are part of worker justice. And so we might be able to say, I'm really passionate about care for creation, care for the environment. I can find a very direct foray from care for creation to care for fellow workers. I think the work of Seeds of Justice is really beneficial because it's an opportunity for folks to learn, to grow, and to participate. And I think those are all key elements of a healthy Christian life, to learn, to grow, and participate. That Seeds of Justice really helps provide a foundation and an opportunity for folks who may not otherwise know who to talk to. As simple as, at the end of the event this last week, there were the number of different folks from community organizations that people could talk to afterwards and say, well, here's where I'm most inspired, or here's where I'm most interested in getting involved. And just having that kind of participation fair in some ways is a really great opportunity for people to live out their Christian faith in life. I think what I would really love to share with folks kind of more generally is a sense of hope and a sense of duty. That when we talk about hope, I think it often gets this kind of pie in the sky or real ethereal feel to it. But I think what the prophets tell us, what Scripture tells us, what our kind of modern prophets tell us, is that hope is a duty. We have a commitment to believing that the world can improve and that we have a responsibility to help the world get better, to help the world heal, to take care of our community. And when we switch from kind of that pie in the sky feeling to a real sense of duty, that it helps ground and stabilize us, because it's easy to lose hope when it's something distant, something kind of strange or off in another planet. But when it's a sense of duty, we have a responsibility to hang on to it. And I think that helps ground us and keep moving us forward in that work for justice.